Hello everyone and welcome back to another Rise of Kingdom video. This is your boy Legend Ronnie and today we have Flavius Aetius Commander Spotlight, the OP Garrison Commanders, the OP meta that is going on right now. And we're going to talk about his talents, his pairings, and we will see some reports from Garrison. How did he do against some of the rally meta that we have right now? And it might just shock you. First thing first, we are talking about legendary commanders, so just a quick peek about the amount of sculptures and the amount of stars that you need to upgrade these legendaries. I do plan to max Flavius Aetius as well, because I find him to be a very nice Garrison commander, and to be very honest, from what I've seen, he works amazing with Zenobia, and on this account I do have a max skill Zenobia, like 100% worth it to max Flavius, even though he was not on my to-do list. I was thinking to expertise some other commanders, but after seeing some reports, which I'm definitely going to show some of them in this video, and I've seen various other reports, Zenobia with Flavius is working super amazing when it comes to Garrison, because what Zenobia does, it gives that 30% increased damage, and when Flavius hits with that 2300 nuking power that he has on his primary skill, it just hits very strong as a Garrison perspective. And that was the first thing that I noticed about him. Not to mention that when you get rallied, the Garrison gets rallied, it doesn't take long until the rally goes under 50%, or if you have some players that will want to commit, you just have to swarm the rally a little bit, but it all depends which type of rally it is. You don't want to swarm up a Karen Harald. You could potentially swarm the rallies that are swarmable and get it down, even though the rally gets reinforced and it's going to be full, but once the leader gets to 50%, you start popping this additional damage when Flavius does his primary skill. Makes him a very nice Garrison commander, having everything that you would need from a Garrison commander, and Zenobia just completes the difference. Because when you look at Zenobia, this is probably one of the most powerful skills from Zenobia: normal attack damage reduction and normal attack damage bonus, and then she has additional damage factor, which can trigger more often the silence of Flavius. You have infantry stats, health and attack, more health. That's pretty amazing for infantry. 2 Garrison commanders with health, that's something. Altogether, these 2 commanders are just completing themselves. And because you're probably thinking there is no skill damage reduction, so they have a lot of normal attack reduction, they have a lot of counter attack damage reduction, they do a lot of counter attack damage, they do a lot of skill damage, but they don't have skill damage reduction. Well, there comes Zenobia, because when you go to her talents, I have done a specific talent for her, which you can find this talent tree on my Discord as well. I posted it over there, already updated Zenobia. So this talent tree is with Zenobia first and Flavius as a second. The other talent trees that are on my Discord, or you've seen on my Zenobia, were for YSS as a second. So I need to explain a couple of things. When YSS is as a second, you do mix of troops, and hold the line does not work with mix of troops, because it specifies over here when the army led by this commander contains only infantry units, gives troops a 10% chance to reduce damage taken by 20% for the next 2 seconds after being attacked, which means that this is kind of an anti-swarm type of talent, because Zenobia and Flavius, they don't have any kind of AoE, so pretty much marchers can stay around the flag without any issue, because only the rally will take damage. So you have emergency protection, which is kind of an anti-swarm type of talent as well. When troops led by this commander take skill damage, there is a 50% chance that they will gain an additional 15 skill damage reduction for the next 3 seconds. Most of my commanders that have a support talent tree, they have emergency protection, because emergency protection is kind of a anti-swarm type of talent. When a lot of marchers swarm you, the majority of marchers in the game right now, they do skill damage. So this is a very high chance, with a 50% chance, when you're getting a lot of skill damage, it's a very high chance that this will pop all the time, so you have pretty much additional 15% skill damage reduction. Even in a single rally situation, You have the primary commander that rallies, and then you have the secondary commander. So the primary commander can activate your emergency protection, and then the secondary commander will do less skill damage, which in a situation of XY and Nevsky, right? XY does the damage, activates emergency protection, and then Nevsky does reduce skill damage. Now the only downfall is that you have 2 out of 3 on the rejuvenate, and to be very honest, I think this is more than enough. I think that 150 rage gain, it was capping the rage gain per turn, and 2 out of 3, it's probably just perfect for rejuvenate. You're not losing anything that is important from the Garrison. These are the most important talents from the Garrison. Of course, everybody knows Kingsguard is quite amazing with all the stats that it offers you, and there is a couple more talents that are amazing as well, like for example Undying Fury. It's true you do lose some rage per turn, but I think the overall gain to get the emergency protection, it is much better. People will tend to swarm, and Zenobia is well known to be swarmed. And now with Flavius has counterattack as well. I think that having Vengeance and Horn, for example, I think is the best way to go with Zenobia and Flavius to enhance that counterattack damage that this March will do. And this is the scary thing that I was hoping it might just never happen, when Zenobia will get the matchmade pair. A lot, and even I think that Flavius is OP, but I just think that the infantry all together, using the full potential of the infantry talent tree with good infantry commanders, is what makes them OP. The way infantry is in the game. I have seen reports where Flavius was being used first, and as a second I've seen Theodora, which obviously Theodora doesn't require mix of troops, even that she is leadership. She doesn't have any skills that says you need 2 types of troops or 3 types of troops. So Flavius and Theodora also done pretty good and got positive trades against XY and Nevsky, or I think it was Attila and Nevsky, something like that. Some of the meta rallies that are being used right now, which means that Flavius with YSS will also work. But if you use YSS, you need to take in consideration that YSS requires mix of troops. There's quite a lot of stats that you gain from his expertise. When troops led by this commander consist of 2 or more different units type, 20% attack and defense increase. So you need to do a little bit of mix. Now the moment you do a little bit of mix, you cannot put the talent tree hold the line. So there is ups and downs. I know a lot of people like YSS, but this is the downfall of YSS, and this is something that I didn't like either about YSS, because it's the only thing that makes you put mix of troops in the Garrison is his expertise. In my opinion, right now YSS will fall down to Jadwiga, because Jadwiga doesn't have a matchmade pair probably until the next Cav commanders that will be introduced, when Jadwiga will have a matchmade pair and we will put YSS to rest. There is a rotation in the game when it comes to commanders. There is some point when commanders will most likely stop being very useful, and I believe that YSS turns comes to that. Now I got Flavius Aetius to level 60. Let's go and build his talent tree. In my opinion, this is what I think to be the best talent tree for Flavius Aetius. You have the beauty of the infantry tree, except 1 point in Undying Fury. You have what you need from the Garrison, and then you got clarity and rejuvenate. Now if you want to do Flavius first and Zenobia second, I think you're doing a big mistake. I don't think that will work very well, because Zenobia primary skill doesn't do any skill damage, and as the skill talent tree, it provides the all for one and clarity, which always empowers the second in command with extra skill damage. Which means that if you want to do Flavius first, you should put something with skill damage as a second. Maybe YSS, maybe Theodora. Like I said, with Theodora, I've seen a report, and that was in KVK in a flag defense where Flavius died, and he still got positive trades on the rally. Not to mention that there was a swarm on the flag as well. So with all that, it still got a positive trade. And it's also something that I'm looking into, because it would be nice to have Flavius in Garrison with some AoE, because Theodora does circular area, which if you want to think about it, that's not that bad to have a circular area AoE with some super badass Garrison commander as leading. If you want to use Flavius Aetius for field fighting, as I've done a video, I'm going to make sure to post the card up on the top. You definitely have to put him as a second in command. I wouldn't see Flavius being used as a first, even though skill tree and infantry tree is nothing wrong to be used on the field. If you want to use him on the field, then all you have to do is just get the feral nature, because you won't need the garrison points, or if you just want to use him like that for the field, you can. His whole purpose is to be used for garrison, but as I explained in that video, it does have a big potential to be used for field as well. If you're thinking about pairings like Flavius and YSG, or various other commanders like Constantine, etc., those commanders just won't work. For example, with YSG, the ship has sailed long ago when YSG in Season of Conquest could be used as a garrison commander. I tried when Zenobia came out, it just doesn't work. YSG is made for archers. On the other hand, when you think about it, because I mentioned Theodora, you're probably thinking, well, what does Theodora have so much as extra? Well, if you look at the second skill, you get defense bonus, you get damage from right army reduce, and then attack and defense to your troops. And then with the fourth skill, you get a chance to get 40% damage bonus, which is considered to be all damage. That's skill damage, normal attack, counter attack. So either when you're swarmed, or maybe if you're lucky enough when Theodora does her skill, or when Flavius does his primary skill, can be empowered by a 40% all damage. And then Theo has 1700 damage factor in a circular area up to 5 targets, and it also removes all the debuffs. So there's a lot of reasons why Theodora it is a much better garrison commander than a YSG, for example, when you want to put them with infantry. Big shout out to Kingdom 1875, because they maxed Flavius on the first second after the MG, and they've done their test on a level 1 pass. So please take this with a grain of salt, because there is a small amount of troops, and obviously the Zenobia healing had an effect over here. As you see, from 460,000 troops, there is a 60,000 heal, which in my opinion could have affected the results of this report, considering that there was also no reinforcements. But it could give you an idea of how good Zenobia and Flavius are. This is in the home kingdom. They used equipment, cav, health, defense and attack, infantry, attack, defense and health. Now, being in the home kingdom, that's why the stats are less. You don't have the crystal tech, you don't have a lot of things in the home kingdom. This is the report where I was talking about Flavius and Theodora in Garrison and about the swarm that they were getting. I'm obviously going to magnify this a little bit when I'm going to edit the video so you all can see it. It's not as blurry as some of the other one, but this can also give you an idea how good Flavius is. This is another report against Gilgamesh and Nebu, and as I mentioned, I believe that the healing had an impact. This is 55,000 healing on 300,000 troops. So I think this could have had probably a bit of a different result if the rally would have been reinforced, but it would have been probably a way different report if the garrison was reinforced. Still, Gilgamesh and Nebu, from what I have seen so far, they kind of do the best against Zenobia and Flavius. But I already seen this live, and Flavius is hitting twice as strong as either Gilgamesh or Nebu as skill damage wise. On the same report, just to show you a little bit, Gilgamesh, which does 1000 damage factor with the health reduction 30%, and our side lost 3400 troops. And on this turn, you will see Flavius casting his primary skill, Spear of the Empire, 2300 damage factor, and enemy lost 8343. There's quite big numbers difference when you think about it. In the same report, we can notice that Zenobia has the max rejuvenate, not the same as the time tree that I showed, and they also have emergency protection max with 15% additional skill damage reduction. This is another report against Attila and Nevsky. As I said, I was hoping that Attila would be doing a lot better because Attila is immune to silence, but all the damages reduction, the normal attack and the counter-attack damages reduction that Zenobia and Flavius have together is pretty significant. I was seeing this live. The numbers from Attila, the white numbers from Attila were so small that I could not believe it. The garrison was doing almost double white numbers on Attila. So that's really something to think about. Pakal and Harald failed as well. Going on the truce buff, it seems that Pakal and Harald had a little bit more infantry held and a little bit less attack, even though Pakal and Harald, they should be the ones that have a lot more attack. It's probably just a gear difference. They probably tried different gears. 104 held, that's pretty significant for a home kingdom buff. The poor attempt of Guan Yu and Scipio, which obviously failed as well against Zenobia and Flavius. They told me that they will do ARC test tonight as well to see with 1.5 million garrisons. Well, I'm pretty sure and I'm very confident that Zenobia and Flavius will prevail. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Flavius Aetius, the new best thing ever, or will the new archers that will be introduced gonna be as crazy as all these commanders that have been recently introduced and will put an end to the reign of Flavius? I want to hear your thoughts. Until next time, this is your boy Ronnie signing off. Peace out, yo, and take care. See you on the next one, and stay safe out there, my friends.